You know what? Life's going to throw stuff at you, big stuff, small stuff, weird stuff. But here's the thing. You can be the person who stays cool no matter what. You can be that rock everyone looks at and thinks, wow, how do they do it? It's not magic. It's not some superpower. It's a skill, and I'm going to tell you how to get it. Think about the last time something really got to you. Maybe it was a rude comment, a setback at work, or just a bad day. Now imagine if you could breeze through that like it was nothing. Sounds good, right? That's what we're aiming for. First off, you got to understand that most things that bother us, they're not as big as we make them out to be. Our minds love to blow things out of proportion. It's like we're carrying around our own personal drama factory. But here's the secret. You can shut that factory down. Start by asking yourself, will this matter in a year? Most of the time, the answer is no. That guy who cut you off in traffic, you won't even remember him next week. That presentation, that didn't go perfectly. In a few months, it'll be ancient history. Once you get this, you're already halfway there. But it's not just about brushing things off. It's about building a mindset that's tough as nails. You need to be like a fortress, strong walls, deep moat, the whole deal. And you build this fortress with your thoughts. Every time something tries to bother you, see it as a chance to make your fortress stronger. It's like weight training for your mind. The more you lift, the stronger you get. Same goes for dealing with life's annoyances. Each one is a rep, making you mentally stronger. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore your feelings. That's not the point. Feel them, acknowledge them, but don't let them run the show. You're the boss here, not your emotions. They work for you, not the other way around. Here's a trick. When something's bugging you, take a step back. Pretend you're watching it happen to someone else. It's like you're the director of your own movie. You can yell, cut anytime you want. This distance helps you see things clearer without all the emotional fog. And let's talk about perspective. Your life is a big picture, right? But most of the time, we're so zoomed in on the little details, we can't see anything else. Zoom out, way out, see your life as a whole. That thing bothering you? It's just a tiny dot in a massive landscape. Doesn't look so big now, does it? You got to practice this stuff daily. It's not a one and done deal. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't do it once and expect clean teeth forever. Same with your mind. Keep at it day in, day out. Start small. Next time someone says something that would usually tick you off, pause, take a breath. Remember, you're building your fortress. This is just another brick. Smile, shrug it off, move on. It'll feel weird at first, but that's good. It means you changing. Now let's talk about control. There's stuff you can control and stuff you can't. Most people waste their energy on things they can't change. That's like trying to stop the rain by yelling at the sky. Focus on what you can control, your reactions, your attitude, your actions. That's where your power is. Think about the people you admire, the ones who seem unshakable. They're not born that way. They've trained themselves to be like that, and you can do the same. It's a choice. Every day, every moment, you choose how to react. Here's another thing. Gratitude. It's like kryptonite to negativity. When you're grateful, it's hard for things to bother you. Start each day by thinking of 3 things you're thankful for. Could be big things, could be small. Doesn't matter. Just make it a habit. And let's not forget about your body. Your mind and body are connected. If your body's tense, your mind's going to be on edge too. Learn to relax physically. Deep breaths, stretch, whatever works for you. A relaxed body leads to a calm mind. Now, I'm not saying you should be a robot. You're human. You'll have bad days. You'll get annoyed. That's normal. The goal isn't to never feel bothered. It's to bounce back faster. It's about resilience. Think of it like this. You're building your own personal shield. At first, it might be small, maybe just covering your pinky, but every time you choose not to let something bother you, that shield grows. Eventually, you'll have a shield so big, so strong that most things just bounce right off. And here's the secret. The more you act like nothing bothers you, the more it becomes true. It's like you're playing a role, and eventually you become the character. Fake it till you make it? Nah. Practice it till you become it. Let's talk about expectations. A lot of times we get bothered because things don't go how we expected. But expectations are just predictions, and predictions can be wrong. Learn to be flexible, adapt, roll with the punches. It's not about lowering your standards. It's about being ready for anything. You know those people who always seem to have drama in their lives? They're usually ones who get bothered by everything. Don't be that person. Choose peace instead. It's a much better way to live. Think about energy. Everything that bothers you is stealing your energy. And energy is precious. You've only got so much of it. So ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Most of the time, the answer is no. Save your energy for the things that really matter. Now, let's get practical. Next time something starts to bother you, try this to count to 10 slowly. By the time you get to 10, you might realize it's not worth getting worked up about. If you're still bothered, count to 20. Keep going till you calm down. And remember, it's okay to walk away. If a situation is really getting to you and you can't shake it off, there's no shame in removing yourself. Take a break, get some fresh air, come back when you're ready. Let's talk about your inner voice. You know, that voice in your head that never shuts up. Make sure it's on your side. If it's always telling you to be upset or angry, it's time for the change. Train that voice to be your cheerleader, not your critic. It's something important. Forgiveness, holding grudges is like carrying around a heavy backpack full of rocks. It's exhausting. Learn to forgive, not for them, but for you. It's the ultimate way of showing that their actions don't bother you. Now, I'm not saying you should let people walk all over you. There's a difference between not being bothered and being a doormat. Stand up for yourself when it matters, but do it calmly, confidently. That's true strength. Let's talk about your environment. Surround yourself with positive people, people who don't sweat the small stuff. Their attitude will rub off on you, and limit your time with the constant complainers. Their negativity is contagious. Stop trying to please everyone. It's impossible, and it'll drive you crazy. Some people will like you, some won't. That's life. Once you accept this, a lot of things that used to bother you will just fade away. Now let's dive into your mindset. Start seeing challenges as opportunities. That person who's always critical, they're giving you a chance to practice patience. That unexpected problem at work, it's a chance to show how adaptable you are. It's all in how you frame it. And speaking of framing, let's talk about failure. Most people get really bothered when they fail at something. But here's the truth. Failure is just feedback. It's information. Use it, learn from it, grow from it. The only real failure is giving up. Here's another trick. Use humor. Learn to laugh at yourself and the situations you're in. It's hard to be bothered when you're laughing. Plus, it makes life a lot more fun. Remember, being unbothered doesn't mean being uncaring. You can care deeply about things without letting them throw you off balance. It's about finding that sweet spot between engagement and detachment. Let's talk about your comfort zone. The more you step out of it, the less things will bother you. Why? Because you'll have faced your fears. You'll know you can handle discomfort. So push yourself. Do things that scare you a little. It'll make you stronger. And here's something people often for. Celebrate your wins. Every time you stay cool in a situation that would have bothered you before, that's a win. Acknowledge it. Be proud of it. It'll motivate you to keep going. Sometimes things should bother you. If someone's violating your core values or crossing your boundaries, it's okay to be bothered. The key is to respond, not react. Take action calmly and decisively. Let's talk about your habits. They shape who you are. So create habits that support your goal of being unbothered. Maybe it's daily meditation or journaling or exercise. Find what works for you and stick with it. And here's a powerful idea. Redefine what bothers you. Instead of getting annoyed by difficult people, see them as teachers of patience. Instead of being frustrated by problems, see them as puzzles to solve. Change your perspective, change your life. Remember, this is a journey. You're not going to master this overnight. There will be setbacks. Days when everything seems to get under your skin. That's okay. It's part of the process. The key is to keep going, keep practicing. Think about water. When you throw a rock in a pond, it makes ripples. But the pond always returns to calm. Be like that pond. Let things pass through you without disturbing your depths. Now, let's talk about your values. When you're clear about what truly matters to you, the little things stop bothering you so much, you'll have a North Star to guide you. So take some time to figure out what's really important to you. Self-care. It's not selfish, it's necessary. When you're taking good care of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, you're in a much better position to handle whatever life throws at you. Let's address fear. A lot of times we get bothered because we're afraid of failure, of rejection, of the unknown. Face those fears head on. The more you do, the less power they'll have over you. Now, about social media, it's a breeding ground for things that can bother you. Learn to use it wisely. Don't get caught up in the drama. Remember, what you see is often just a highlight reel, not real life. Here's a powerful tools. Visualization. Imagine yourself as that unshakable person you want to be. See yourself handling difficult situations with ease. The more you do this, the more natural it'll become in real life. Let's talk about your self-talk. The way you speak to yourself matters. If you're constantly putting yourself down, you'll be more sensitive to outside criticism. Build yourself up instead. Be your own biggest fan. And it's something important. And learn to say no. A lot of times we get bothered because we've taken on too much. It's okay to set limits. It's okay to protect your time and energy. Now, about perfectionism, it's a surefire way to be constantly bothered. Nothing will ever be perfect. Strive for excellence instead. Do your best and let go of the rest. Let's address comparison. It's a thief of joy. The more you compare yourself to others, the more things will bother you. Focus on your own journey. Run your own race. And here's a big one. Forgiveness, not just for others, but for yourself too. We all make mistakes. Learn from them, then let them go. Holding on to past errors will only weigh you down. Now, about patience, it's a superpower when it comes to not being bothered. Practice it in traffic, in lines, with difficult people. The more patient you become, the less things will get to you. Let's talk about your physical space. Keep it organized and peaceful. A cluttered environment can lead to a cluttered mind, and a cluttered mind gets bothered easily. And here's something often overlooked. Your diet. What you eat affects your mood. If you're constantly eating junk food, you're more likely to feel irritable. Fuel your body with good food, and you'll be better equipped to handle life's challenges. Now, about sleep, it's crucial. When you're well rested, you're more resilient. Things that might bother you when you're tired won't even register when you're well rested. Let's address your relationships. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who don't sweat the small stuff. Their attitude will rub off on you. And here's a powerful idea. Be curious. When something bothers you, get curious about why. Often understanding the root cause can help you let it go. Now, about your goals. Having clear, meaningful goals gives you direction. When you're focused on what's important, the little annoyances of life fade into the background. Let's talk about gratitude again. It's worth repeating because it's that powerful. Start and end each day by thinking of things you're grateful for. It's hard to be bothered when you're feeling thankful. And here's something important. Learn to be present. Often, we get bothered by things that happened in the past or might happen in the future. Stay in the now. It's where your power is. Now, about your reaction. Remember, you always have a choice in how you respond to situations. That pause between stimulus and response, that's where your freedom lies. Let's address your standards. Are they realistic? Sometimes we get bothered because our expectations are out of line with reality. Adjust your standards if needed. And here's a big one. Acceptance. Accept that life isn't always fair, that people won't always behave the way you want them to. The more you can accept reality as it is, the less bothered you'll be. Now, about your focus. What you focus on expands. If you're constantly focusing on things that bother you, you'll find more and more to be bothered about. Choose to focus on the good instead. Let's talk about your strengths. Know what you're good at, what you bring to the table. When you're confident in your abilities, outside opinions bother you less. And here's something powerful. Empathy, often when someone does something that bothers us, it's because they're dealing with their own struggles. Try to understand where they're coming from. It doesn't excuse their behavior, but it can help you not take it personally. Now, about your time. Use it wisely. The more productive and fulfilled you feel, the less likely you are to get caught up in things that don't matter. Let's address your decisions. Make them and stand by them. Don't second guess yourself constantly. Trust your judgment. And here's a big one. Let go of the need to be right all the time. It's exhausting and it'll constantly put you in conflict with others. Sometimes peace is more important than being right. Now, about your habits again, create morning and evening routines that set you up for success. Start your day right, end it right, and you'll be better equipped to handle whatever comes in between. Let's talk about your personal growth. Always be learning, always be improving. The more you grow, the more you'll realize how little most things matter in the grand scheme of things. And here's something often overlooked, your breathing. Learn to control it. Deep, slow breaths can calm you down in any situation. It's like a superpower you always have with you. Now, about your self-image. See yourself as someone who's calm, collected, and unbothered. The more you reinforce this image, the more you'll naturally act that way. Let's address your boundaries again. Have clear ones and enforce them respectfully. When you know where you stand, it's harder for others to push your buttons. And here's a powerful idea. Be proactive, not reactive. Don't wait for things to bother you. Take charge of your life, your mindset, your reactions before situations arise. Now, about your language, the words you use matter. Instead of saying, this is stressing me out, try this is challenging me to grow. It's a small shift that can make a big difference. Let's talk about your support system. Have people you can turn to when you need to vent or get perspective. Sometimes all it takes is a good conversation to put things in perspective. And here's something important, your health. Take care of it. Exercise regularly, eat well, get checkups. When you feel good physically, you're more resilient mentally. Now, about your mindset again, Cultivate a growth mindset. See challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. This perspective can turn bothersome situations into valuable experiences. Let's address your self awareness. Let's address your self awareness. Know your triggers. What sets you off? Once you identify these, you can prepare for them. It's like knowing where the landmines are. You can avoid them or diffuse them before they explode. And here's a big one. Your ego, often it's our ego that gets bothered. How dare they say that to me? Don't they know who I am? Let go of that. Your true self is much stronger and more resilient than your ego. Now, about your environment again. Create spaces that calm you, whether it's a corner of your room, a spot in nature, or even just a playlist of soothing music. Have go-to places or things that help you reset when you're feeling bothered. Let's talk about your inner strength. You're stronger than you think. You've survived every bad day you've ever had. Remember that when things are trying to bother you, you've got this. And here's something powerful. Reframing. It's all about how you look at things. Instead of thinking, why is this happening to me? Try, what is this teaching me? It's the same situation, but a completely different energy. Now, about your expectations again. Are they serving you? Sometimes we expect things to be a certain way, and when they're not, we get bothered. But what if you expected less and appreciated more? How would that change things? Let's address your reactions once more. When something bothers you, it's often just a habit, and habits can be changed. Start noticing your typical reactions and consciously choose different ones. It'll feel weird at first, but soon it'll become your new norm. And here's a big one. Your story. We all have a story we tell ourselves about who we are and how the world works. If your story is everything always goes wrong for me, or people are always out to get me, you're setting yourself up to be bothered. Change your story. Make it one of resilience, growth, and positivity. Now, about your energy again, guard it fiercely. Don't let every little thing drain you. Be selective about what you give your energy to. The more you preserve your energy, the more you'll have to handle the things that really matter. Let's talk about your mindset once more. Develop a problem-solving mindset. When faced with something that would usually bother you, ask yourself, how can I solve this? It shifts you from victim mode to empowered mode. And here's something often overlooked. Your physical posture. Stand tall, shoulders back, head high. Your body language affects your mindset. Carry yourself like someone who's unbothered, and you'll start to feel that way too. Now, about your focus again. Train it like a muscle. The more you can focus on what's important and let go of the rest, the less bothered you'll be by the small stuff. Meditation can really help with this. Let's address your self-talk one more time. Make it your ally, not your enemy. When something's bothering you, what are you saying to yourself? Change that inner dialogue. Be your own best friend, your own cheerleader. And here's a powerful idea. Detachment. Learn to step back from situations emotionally. Observe them as if you're watching a movie. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're not letting it consume you. Now, about your values again, live by them consistently. When you're aligned with your values, external stuff bothers you less. You got an inner compass guiding you. Let's talk about your reactions to others. Remember, most of the time, it's not about you. People are dealing with their own stuff. Their actions often say more about them than about you. Don't take it personally. And here's something important, your time perspective. Zoom out. Will this matter in a month, a year, 5 years? Most things that bother us now won't even be a memory then. Now, about your self-image again. See yourself as someone who's calm under pressure, who can handle anything. The more you reinforce this image, the more you'll naturally embody it. Let's address your mindset once more. Embrace uncertainty. A lot of times we get bothered because we want to control everything, but life is uncertain. Learn to find excitement in that, not fear. And here's a big one. Your resilience. Build it every day. Each time you choose not to be bothered, you're getting stronger. It's like building a muscle. Every rep counts. Now, about your perspective again. Look for the opportunity in every difficulty. There's always something to be gained, even from the most bothersome situations. Train your mind to find it. Let's talk about your reactions one last time. Slow them down. When something happens, take a beat before you respond. That pause can be the difference between reacting out of habit and responding with intention. Here's something powerful. Gratitude, one more time. It's worth repeating because it's that important. Be thankful for the good and the bad. The good for obvious reasons, the bad for the lessons and growth it brings. Now, about your mindset one final time. See life as a game, a challenging, sometimes frustrating, but ultimately fun and rewarding game. When you see it this way, the things that bother you become just obstacles to overcome, not permanent roadblock. Let's address your growth again. Embrace discomfort. The things that bother you are often the things that help you grow the most. Lean into them, use them as fuel for your personal development. And here's the last big one, choice. Because ultimately, that's what it comes down to. In every moment, you have a choice. You can choose to be bothered, or you can choose to rise above it. The power is yours. Remember, becoming someone who doesn't get easily bothered isn't about becoming cold or uncaring. It's about becoming strong, resilient, and centered. It's about knowing yourself so well and being so grounded that the little things can't shake you. This journey isn't always easy. There will be days when everything seems to get under your skin. That's okay. It's part of the process. The key is to keep going, keep practicing, keep choosing to be unbothered. You got the tools now. You know what to do. It's time to put it into practice. Start small. Choose one thing that usually bothers you and decide that today it won't. Then do it again tomorrow. And the next day, build that habit. Strengthen that muscle. And remember, this isn't just about you. When you learn to stay calm and unbothered, you become a rock for others. You become someone people look to for strength and stability. You become a leader. So go out there, face the world with a smile and an unshakable spirit. Let the little things slide off you like water off a duck's back. Stand tall in the face of challenges. Be that person who stays cool when everyone else is losing their heads. You got this. You're stronger than you know. You're more resilient than you believe. And you're absolutely capable of being that person who's unshakable, unbreakable, and unbothered. Now it's time. Time to step into that power. Time to be that person you know you can be. Time to show the world what you're made of. Go out there and be amazing. Be strong. Be unbothered. Be you.